السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Started. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Alright, so Surah Muhammad, Surah Al-Qital, page 741, ayah number 16. Right, so said we have 3.5 pages till the end of the surah, so we'll finish that and then do some hidayat al-nahu, inshallah. Almost ready. Bismillah.
بسم الله. ومنهم أي الكفار من يستمع إليك في خطبة الجمعة وهم المنافقون حتى إذا خرجوا من عندك قالوا للذين أوتوا العلم لعلماء الصحابة منهم ابن مسعود وابن عباس استهزاء وسخرية ماذا قال آنفا بالمد والقصر أي الساعة أي لا يرجع إليه أولئك الذين طبع الله على قلوبهم بالكفر واتبعوا أهواءهم في النفاق والذين اهتدوا وهم المؤمنون زادهم الله هدى وآتاهم تقواهم ألهمهم ما يتقون به النار فهل ينظرون ما ينتظرون أي كفار مكة إلا الساعة أن تأتيهم بدل اشتمال من الساعة أي ليس الأمر إلا أن تأتيهم بغتة فجأة فقد جاء أشراطها علاماتها منها بعثة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وانشقاق القمر والدخان فأنى لهم إذا جاءتهم الساعة تذكرهم أي لا تنفعهم فاعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله أي دم يا محمد على علمك بذلك النافع في القيامة واستغفر لذنبك لأجله قيل له ذلك من عصمته لتستن به أمته وقد فعله صلى الله عليه وسلم إني لأستغفر الله في كل يوم 100 مرة وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات فيه إكرام لهم بأمر نبيهم بالاستغفار لهم والله يعلم متقلبكم منصرفكم لاشتغالكم بالنهار مأواكم إلى مضاجعكم بالليل أي هو عالم بجميع أحوالكم لا يخفى عليه شيء منها فاحذروه والخطاب للمؤمنين وغيرهم. There are some of them, meaning the disbelievers who listen to you in the Friday khutbah, and they are the hypocrites. But when they depart from you, they say to those gifted with knowledge, to the scholars of the companions from them are Ibn Mas'ud and Ibn Abbas, out of ridicule and mockery to them. What did he just say? Can be read anifan or anifan. As-sa'a mean just now. أي لا يرجع إليه meaning we will not go back to the Prophet. These are the ones whose hearts Allah has sealed with disbelief and who only follow their desires in hypocrisy. And for those who are rightly guided and they are the believers, Allah increases them in guidance and blesses them with righteousness. He inspires them with inspires them with how to stay away from the hellfire.
So yeah, وآتاهم تقواهم, ألهمهم ما يتقون, through which, they fear the fire, right? The Huda.
Um, فهل ينظرون, are they only waiting, um, meaning the disbelievers of Mecca are only waiting for the hour to take them by surprise, and أن تأتيهم is بدل اشتمال to الساعة, meaning the matter is إلا أن تأتيهم is that it will only come to them by surprise. Yet some of its signs have already come, and from them are the sending, the prophethood of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the splitting of the moon and the smoke. فَأَنَّى لَهُمْ إِذَا جَاءَتْهُمْ ذِكْرُهُم. Once it actually befalls them, will it not be too late to be mindful, meaning it will not benefit them? So know, so know that there is no God worthy of worship except Allah, meaning be steadfast, O Muhammad, upon your knowledge that that is what will benefit on the day of judgment, and seek forgiveness for your shortcomings. And that was said to him despite him being infallible, so that his ummah can take that as a practice. And the Prophet ﷺ had done that. He said that I seek forgiveness from Allah in one day 100 times. And for the believing men and women, and in this is ikramun lahum, like a generosity to the believers.
Ikram is usually,
Gift.
a respect.
Yes. Like an honor for them.
Yeah, an honor for them.
Okay. So, and this is an honor to the believers, by commanding the Prophet ﷺ to seek forgiveness for them.
Yeah.
Allah ya'lamu, for Allah knows your movements and places, your movements, where you go for work during the day, and places of rest. مأواكم إلى مضاجعكم, your places of rest, to your beds during the night, meaning He is knowledgeable of all of your situations or actions. Nothing from them is hidden from Him. So beware of Him. And this is addressing the believers and other than that. ويقول الذين آمنوا طلبا للجهاد لولا هلا نزلت سورة فيها ذكر الجهاد فإذا أنزلت سورة محكمة أي لم ينسخ منها شيء وذكر فيها القتال أي طلبه، رأيت الذين في قلوبهم مرض أي شك وهم المنافقون ينظرون إليك نظر المغشي عليه من الموت خوفا منه وكراهية له، أي فهم يخافون من القتال ويكرهونه، فأولى لهم مبتدأ خبره طاعة وقول معروف، أي حسن لك، فإذا عزم الأمر أي فرض القتال فلو صدقوا الله في الإيمان والطاعة لكان خيرا لهم، وجملة لو جواب إذا، فهل عسيتم بكسر السين وفتحها وفيه التفات عن الغيبة إلى الخطاب أي لعلكم إن توليتم أعرضتم عن الإيمان أن تفسدوا في الأرض وتقطعوا أرحامكم، أي تعود إلى أمر الجاهلية من البغي والقتال. أولئك أي المفسدون الذين لعنهم الله فأصمهم عن استماع الحق وأعمى أبصارهم عن طريق الهداية. أفلا يتدبرون القرآن فيعرفون الحق أم بل على قلوب أقفالها فلا يفهمون. أم، ويقول الذين and the believers say طلبا للجهاد seeking fighting for the sake of Allah. If only a surah was revealed that mentions jihad, yet when a precise surah is revealed, meaning nothing from it was abrogated, in which fighting is mentioned, you see those with sickness in their hearts, meaning doubt in their hearts, they are the hypocrites. ينظرون إليك, you see the staring at you like someone in the throes of death, out of fear for death and a dislike for it. They fear, هم يخافون من القتال, they're scared of death and they dislike it. فأولى لهم, it would have been better for them. That is the mubtada, its khabar is طاعة وقول معروف, to obey and speak rightly, to speak good to you. فإذا عزم الأمر, then when fighting was ordained, meaning made obligatory, it surely would have been better for them, في الإيمان والطاعة, in faith and obedience, and لو صدقوا الله is the answer to إذا عزم الأمر. فهل عسيتم, now if you turn away, can be read فهل عسيتم or فهل عسيتم, and in this is a shift from فهل عسيتم the second person to the third person.
Yeah.
أي لعلكم,
From the third
now,
to the second.
third, yes.
Because Allah says, فَإِذَا عَزَمَ الْأَمْرُ لَكَانَ خَيْرًا لَهُمْ. That's غيبة. فَهَلْ عَسَيْتُمْ or عَسِيتُمْ is خطاب. فهل عسيتم إن توليتم. Okay. Now if you turn away, perhaps you would then spread corruption. If you turn away from faith, you would then spread corruption throughout the land and sever your ties of kinship, meaning return to jahiliyyah of oppression and killing. أولئك, these, meaning these مفسدون, rebellious people, are the ones Allah has condemned, defeating them from hearing the truth and blinding their eyes from the path of guidance. Do they not then reflect the Quran, so they know that it is the truth, or are there locks upon their hearts, so they do not understand it? Think of phrases continuing from here.
إن الذين ارتدوا بالنفاق على أدبارهم من بعد ما تبين لهم الهدى الشيطان سول أي زين لهم وأمنى لهم بضم أوله وبفتحه واللام is it مملي الشيطان بإرادته تعالى فهو المضل
والمملي.
والمملي والمملي الشيطان بإرادته تعالى فهو المضل لهم ذلك أي إضلالهم بأنهم قالوا للذين كرهوا ما نزل الله أي للمشركين سنطيعكم في بعض الأمر أمر المعاونة على عداوة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وتثبيط الناس عن الجهاد معه قالوا ذلك سرا فأظهره الله تعالى والله يعلم إسرارهم بفتح الحمزة جمع سر وبكسرها مصدر فكيف حالهم إذا توفتهم الملائكة يضربون حال من الملائكة وجوههم وأدبارهم ظهورهم بمقام عم ظهورهم بمقام عم من حديد ذلك أي التوفي على الحالة المذكورة بأنهم اتبعوا ما أسخط الله وكرهوا رضوانه أي العمل بما يرضيه فأحبط أعمالهم إن الذين امتدوا um, that one second, let me see. Mufti Taqi 25. That surely those who turn back, right, in الذين ارتدوا, in hypocrisy, على أدبارهم, it's just saying like turn on their backs, من بعد ما تبين لهم الهدى الشيطان, after guidance has appeared to them and been made clear. الشيطان سول لهم, that it is shaitan who has tempted them, meaning beautified or adorned. وَأَمْلَى لَهُمْ and it says like involve them in far-fetched fancies. بضم أوله that it could be وَأُمْلَى لَهُم or وَأَمْلَى لَهُم وبفتح اللام والمملي الشيطان where the one who بإرادته تعالى so like the one who gives those hopes is shaitan, shaitanu, بإرادة by the will of Allah. فهو المضل لهم and he is the one who leads them astray. ذلك, that is because أيضانهم, meaning their misguidance, بأنهم قالوا للذين كرهوا, because they say to those that they like dislike or hate, they say like what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed, meaning to the mushrikeen, سنطيعكم في بعض الأمر, that we will obey you in some of your matters. أمر المعاونة, like أمر المعاونة, like we will cooperate or support you against the enemies of the Prophet ﷺ. على عداوة, to maintain, or like cooperate with you in enmity, not against the enemies. In enmity against the Prophet ﷺ, وتثبيت الناس, and like prevent people from fighting in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with him. قالوا ذلك سرا فأظهروه, and they said that in secret, فأظهر الله تعالى, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it apparent. والله يعلم إسرارهم, and he is aware of their secrets. بفتح الحمزة, it could be إسرارهم or الحمزة جمع, yeah, it could be إسرارهم or أسرارهم, which إسرارهم would be the مصدر. فكيف حالهم, so then how will their state be إذا توفتهم الملائكة, when the angels take them away, beating them. حال من الملائكة, and that is the حال, the state of the malaika. وجوههم أدبارهم, so beating them on their faces and their backs. ظهورهم بمقامع من حديد, um, ظهورهم, like their, is it just saying their backs again with like rods from iron?
Mhm.
Um, ذلك أي التوفي عن الحالة, and that meaning like them being taken away um, على الحالة in like the state that is mentioned, بأنه تبعوا is because they would follow what angered Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وكرهوا رضوانه, and disliked what pleased him, meaning of actions that pleased him, فأحبط أعمالهم, and so he nullified or made their uh, you know, erased their works. um, أم حسب الذين في قلوبهم مرض أن لن يخرج الله أضغانهم يظهر أحقادهم على النبي والمؤمنين ولو نشاء لأريناكهم عرفناكهم وكررت اللام في فلعرفتهم بسيماهم علامتهم ولتعرفنهم الواو لقسم محذوف وما بعدها جوابا في لحن القول، أي معناه إذا تكلموا عندك بأن يعرضوا بما فيه تحجين أمر المسلمين والله يعلم أعمالكم ولنبلونكم نختبر نختبرنكم
لا،
اختبار.
نختبرنهم.
Can you say it again?
نختبرنكم.
Mm.
اختبر يختبر. Right, and the noon is noon ثقيلة, noon خفيفة.
نختبرنكم بالجهاد وغيره حتى يعلم علم ظهور المجاهدين منكم والصابرين في الجهاد وغيره نظهر أخباركم من طاعتكم وعصيانكم في الجهاد وغيره بالياء والنون في الأفعال الثلاثة إن الذين كفروا وصدوا عن سبيل الله طريق الحق وشاقوا الرسول خالفوه من بعد ما تبين لهم الهدى هو معنى سبيل الله لن يضر الله شيئا وسيحبط أعمالهم يبطلها من صدقة ونحوها فلا يرون لها في الآخرة ثوابا نزلت في المطعمين من أصحاب بدر أو في قريضة والنظير. أم حسب الذين في قلوبهم أم أم حسب الذين في قلوبهم. So do the ones who have sickness in their hearts think أن يخرج الله أضغانهم, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not expose their grudges or make it come out. يظهر أحقادهم على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, that like he would not make apparent their like hatred against the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم and the believers. وَلَوْ نَشَاءُ لَأَرَيْنَاكَهُمْ, and if we will, we could surely show them to you. عرفناكهم, make you aware or know of it. وكررت اللام, and it could be where the lam is repeated. كرر. The lam is repeated in the next word.
وكررت اللام في فلعرفتهم. So لأريناكهم and then لعرفتهم and then also لتعرفنهم.
Mhm. فَلَعَرَفْتَهُمْ بِسِيمَاهُمْ, and that you will know or recognize them by their mark or their sign. وَلَتَعْرِفَنَّهُمْ, and that you will certainly know or recognize them. And this wow is for like in omitted oath. وما بعدها جواب, and after that is the answer. في لحن القول, by the like tone or way of their speech. أي معناه إذا تكلم عندك meaning like when they speak near you. Um, فإن يعرضوا بما فيه تهجين المسلمين, and like what appears or comes out as tahjeen, like bad mouthing the affairs of the Muslims.
Well, tahjeen means like a verbal attack, right? Um, tahjeen, for example, in Sunnah number 6 says تقبيح والهجنة is من الكلام ما يعيبه, right? So basically to find fault, to badmouth. Right?
Mhm. وَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ حَتَّى نَعْلَمَ الْمُجَاهِدِينَ, that like we will surely test you بالجهاد وغيره, with jihad and other than it, حتى نعلم, until we know um, علم ظهور علم ظهور, like
علم ظهوري means like a knowledge that's visible, that's seen, right? Like in front of their eyes, essentially.
mhm. So like we know visibly, basically, المجاهدين منكم والصابرين, those that like are mujahideen and struggle and for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, minkum sabirin, those who are patient in their jihad and other than it, and we will test and make apparent akhbarakum, um, like your news, or like min ta'atikum, like your affair, min ta'atikum asanikum, of what you obeyed or disobeyed in jihad and other than it, and it could be nablu or yablu, in all three verbs. إن الذين كفروا وصدوا عن سبيل الله, indeed those who disbelieve and prevent people from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the right path or the true path, وشاقوا الرسول, and like defy the Prophet ﷺ and go against him بعد ما تبين, after guidance has been made clear to you, هو معنى سبيل الله, and that is the meaning of the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لا يضر الله شيئا, they will not hurt Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all. وَسَيُحْبِطُ أَعْمَالَهُم, and He will make their works fail. يَبْطِلُهَا, that He will nullify it, meaning from sadaqah, charity, or similar to that. فَلَا يَرَوْنَ لَهَا فِي الْآخِرَةِ ثَوَابًا, they will not see in the akhirah their reward. نزل نزلت, so, or yeah, نزلت, it was revealed في المطعمين, like about and Ashabi Badr, like those that fed people during Badr from Qurayza and Bani Qurayza and Bani Nadir. يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول ولا تبطلوا أعمالكم بالمعاصي. مثلا إن الذين كفروا صدوا عن سبيل الله طريقه وهو الهدى ثم ماتوا هم كفار فلا يغفر الله لهم, نزلت في أصحاب قليب, أصحاب قليب.
النظير.
It's another word for Nadir.
Qurayza and Nadir are two tribes, right?
No, قليب.
Qalib is the people of the well, and this is talking about the people in. So this is referring to the well in Badr, in which the dead of the kuffar were dumped in. But obviously, the hukum of the ayah is for all of the disbelievers who passed away on kufr. Does that make sense? So ثم ماتوا وهم كفار فلن يغفر الله لهم. So this was revealed post Badr regarding the people who were killed at Badr. However, you know, Amman, it still applies to all of the kuffar.
فلا تهنوا تضعفوا وتدعوا إلى السلم بفتح السين وكسرها أي الصلح مع الكفار إذا لقيتموهم وأنتم الأعلون. حذف منه واو واو لام الفعل الأغلب أغلبون القاهرون والله معكم بالعون والنصر ولن يتركم ينقصكم أعمالكم أي ثوابها إنما الحياة الدنيا أي الاشتغال فيها لعب وله وإن تؤمنوا وتتقوا الله وذلك من أمور الآخرة يؤتيكم أجوركم ولا يسألكم أموالكم جميعها بالزكاة مفروضة فيها إن يسألكموها فيحفكم يبالغ في طلبها تبخلوا ويخرج البخل أضغانكم لدين الإسلام ها أنتم يا هؤلاء تدعون لتنفقوا في سبيل الله ما فرض عليكم فمنكم من يبخل ومن يبخل فإنما يبخل عن نفسه يقال بخل عليه وعن والله الغني عن نفقتكم وأنتم الفقراء إليه وإن تتولوا عن طاعته يستبدل قوما غيركم أن يجعلهم بدلكم ثم لا يكونوا أمثالكم في التولي عن طاعته بل مطيعين له عز وجل. يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله, that all you who believe obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and obey the messenger ولا تبطلوا أعمالكم and do not like nullify your actions or own works with disobedience. For example, إن الذين كفروا صدوا عن سبيل, and those that disbelieve and prevent people from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his path, and that is guidance. ثم ماتوا وهم كفار, and they die as disbelievers. فلا يغفر الله لهم, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not forgive them. نزلت في أصحاب القليب, that this was revealed regarding the people of the well. فلا تهنوا, and so do not what's for that? So do not lose heart. Like weaken. وتدعو إلى السلم. And so it's like saying do not lose heart and call for peace. It could be salim or sin. يصلح مع الكفار, and that would be like peace or a treaty with the disbelievers when you meet them. وأنتم الأعلون, and like you will be the uppermost, so like you have the upper hand. حذف منه واو لام الفعل. I don't know what this means. So أنتم الأعلون حذف منه واو لام الفعل. They're saying a wow. حذف منه واو.
حذف منه واو لام الفعل.
What does that mean? So saying the wow has been omitted, but how does the lam al-fi'l play into that?
So أعلوون becomes أعلون. Lam al-fi'l is referring to the lam kalima, not the physical lam. It's referring to the lam kalima, right? Fa'ain lam kalima. So the third letter is the waw, and that's dropped because in the jama you can't have two waws.
Okay. الأغلبون القاهرون.
The verb is what? Ala, right? Ala ya'la, right? So ala, the ya was originally a waw, and the waw was in the third place of the fi'l, which is the lam of the fi'l. Right?
الأغلبون, those who are victorious. قاهرون. Um, what is قاهرون?
Qahiruna, well, vanquishers. One example.
Wallahu ma'akum, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with you in assistance and help. وَلَن يَتِرَكُمْ, and he will not um, deprive you or decrease you أعمالكم, in your actions. أي ثوابها, and its reward. إنما الحياة الدنيا, surely the life of this world, أي اشتغال فيها, and like preoccupation or busyment in it, لعب وله, is just play and distraction. وإن تؤمنوا وتتقوا, if you believe, وتتقوا, and are conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وذلك من أمور الآخرة, and of that which relates to the affairs of the hereafter, that you will be given reward, ولا يسألكم أموالكم, and ولا يسألكم أموالكم, will not be asked for your wealth, all of it, but الزكاة المفروضة فيها, rather only the charity or zakat that is obligatory upon it. يسألكموها فيحفيكم, that if he were to ask you for it, فيحفيكم, يبالغ في طلبها. يسألكموها فيحفيكم. So like if he were to ask you of it and press you on it, like insist. So it says يبالغ, that it is like the most persistent or extreme form of asking. تبخل ويخرج, that you would be stingy. ويخرج أضغانكم, and you would like expose your disgusts. So like dislike. لدين الإسلام, like for the religion of Islam. ها أنتم يا هؤلاء تدعون لتنفقوا في سبيل الله. Yes, you are. ها أنتم هؤلاء. So like when you all are called to spend in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and what has been obligated upon you, فَمِنْكُم مَن يَبْخِلُ, like from you are people that are stingy, and whoever is stingy is stingy towards their own self. And it is said, one might say, like بخل عليه وعنه, that he was stingy towards بخل عليه وعنه. Don't they both? Okay, like he was stingy to himself or to others?
Well, بخل عليه وعنه, meaning he was stingy to someone, and kind of like what you said, right? That by being stingy, he has deprived someone who is mustahiq, right? And they have deprived themselves as well of the reward that a person gets by actually spending in the path of Allah.
والله غني وأنتم الفقراء, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that is self-sufficient from spending, and you all are impoverished to him. وَإِن تَتَوَلَّوْا, and if you turn away from his obedience, يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ, that he will replace you with people other than you. يَجْعَلُهُمْ بَدْلِكُمْ, and that he will put them in your place. ثُمَّ لَا يَكُونُوا أَمْثَالَكُمْ, and they will not be like you or similar to you. meaning those that turn away from his obedience, but rather they will be obedient to him Azza wa Jal.
Okay, let's stop here and zoom on Monday, inshallah. Okay. Do some Hidayat al-Nahw. And in a little early today. Right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So we are in the chapter of Tawabi', right? Which we started yesterday on page 151. This is the Khatima of the Asma'ul Mu'arabat, right? And after the Khatima is Asma'ul Mabni, right? So the Tawabi' are basically the ones that are receive the same i'rab as the thing that they are following, which kind of makes it easy because you don't have to think of another i'rab to give it, right? And the tawabi' are of 5 types. Mawsul sifa, which is known as na'at, and then atf bil huruf, ta'kid badal, and atf al bayan. Okay, so in Tuhfa, if I'm not mistaken, atf bil huruf and atf al bayan was mentioned together, right? So basically they had 4 tabi', 4 tawabi' for that reason. Okay. So we start with النعت. This is page 153. تفصيل النعت فصل النعت تابع يدل على معنى في متبوعه نحو جاءني رجل عالم، أو في متعلق متبوعه نحو جاءني رجل عالم أبوه. الاسم الآخر للنعت ويسمى صفة أيضا. So this is the chapter of Na'at. Na'at is that which indicates upon a meaning, and it indicates upon a meaning fi matbu'ihi, in the word that follows it. In other words, there's one mawsuf and one sifa. So the word that follows it is the tabi', and the word that is being followed is the matbu'. So the mawsuf is the matbu' and the sifa is the tabi'. For example, جاءني رجل عالم أو في متعلق متبوعه, or the sifa is a word which is connected to the matbu', okay, which is connected to the matbu', or it is describing something which is linked to the matbu', describing something which is linked to the matbu'. For example, جاءني رجل عالم أبوه. جاءني رجل عالم أبوه. So this example is translated as the man came whose father is an alim. جاءني رجل عالم أبوه. So alimun here is not alimun here is not the sifa per se of the word rajul. Okay, the word alimun here is not describing the word rajul, but rather something which is connected to the word rajul, which is abuhu. And we know abuhu is referring back to the word rajul because of the hu dhamir. So alimun is a sifa for the word abuhu. So it's operating on two levels. I don't know if you remember, we had the same example come up in Tuhfa as well. And what you have here is something that looks like a mawsuf sifa. In other words, the i'rab is that of the word rajul, but it is more connected with the word after. So ja'ani rajulun alimun abuhu. The word alimun is marfu' because it is following the word rajul. However, it is explaining a word that is connected to the word rajul. So alimun is not connected to the word rajul. Alimun is explaining the word abuhu, which is connected to the word rajul. So a man came and his father is an alim. Abuhu alimun or alimun abuhu. Does that make sense? So it's not a typical mawsuf sifa sentence, but it looks like that, and it's part of the matbu' tabir examples, right? And another name for na'at is sifa. Qismani lin-na'at. There are two types of sifa. Wal-qismu al-awwal, the first one is إنما يتبع متبوعه في عشرة أشياء. It follows the matbu', in other words, the sifa follows the mawsuf in 10 things. The sifa follows the mawsuf in 10 things. You might think to yourself, how is it 10? Well, basically it's including the drop-down menu / subtypes of each of the 4. So it becomes 10 by fil i'rabi. The sifa follows the mawsuf in i'rab, and you have 3 types of i'rab, which is rafa', nasab, and jar. And then the sifa follows the mawsuf in definiteness, indefiniteness, which is ta'rif and tankir. That's 5. And then the sifa follows the mawsuf in number, which is ifrad, tathniya, and jama'. Right? Dual, singular, and plural. And lastly, sifa follows the mawsuf in gender, which is mudhakkar and muannath. Right? So that's how you get 10, but obviously you don't learn it as 10, you learn it as the larger category of i'rab, gender, number, and indefiniteness versus indefiniteness, right? So this is the first type of sifa, which is the one that we usually learn. الأمثلة للقسم الأول من النعت. The first type of sifa, examples for that, نحو جاءني رجل عالم. Okay. التبع فيه حالة الرفع والتنكير والإفراد والتذكير. So it is matching in حالة الرفع, in being nakira, in being singular, and being mudhakkar. And then you have جاءني رجلان عالمان. التبع فيه حالة الرفع والتنكير والتثنية والتذكير. وجاءني رجال عالمون. التبع فيه حالة الرفع والتنكير والجمع والتذكير. وجاءني زيد العالم. التبع فيه حالة الرفع والتعريف والإفراد والتذكير. وجاءني امرأة وجاءتني امرأة عالمة. التبع فيه حالة الرفع والتنكير والإفراد والتأنيث. So all the examples are going to be the same. Basically, this is the usual mawsuf sifa that we know. Now the second one is the one that is not necessarily new. It came up previously, but it doesn't have to match up in every single aspect. والقسم الثاني إنما يتبع متبوعه في الخمسة الأول فقط. So the second type of موصوف صفة, right? So the second type of موصوف صفة only has to match in the first 5 of the 10. So the first 5 would be i'rab, which has 3, right? And then ma'rifa nakira, which is 2. So instead of matching in i'rab, ma'rifa nakira, number and gender, it only has to match in i'rab and ma'rifa nakira. All right? فقط. أعني, and what I mean by that is الإعراب الثلاث والتعريف والتنكير. So it has to match each other in i'rab and definiteness versus indefiniteness. الأمثلة الثاني من النعت. So an example of this would be من هذه القرية الظالم أهلها. Okay. So let's read through the footnote. This is 387. So we're looking at the word قرية الظالم. قرية الظالم, because what we see here is قرية and ظالم are both majrur, because the harf jar min, and both of them are ma'rifa nakira. However, قريتي is mu'annath and ظالم is mudhakkar. But we still say this is mawsuf sifa. How? So this verse, which is translated as, "Oh our Lord, remove us from that village whose residents have oppressed." In this verse, the word al-qarya is the matbu' and the word zalim is the tabi'. However, the word zalim, tabi', is not describing the word qarya, rather it is describing the people connected to the matbu'. Hence, it is from the second category of na'at. So it looks like na'at, it looks like zalim is the sifa of qarya, but just like how you had, for example, جاءني رجل عالم أبوه, قرية الظالم أهلها is the same. Zalim matches the word qarya in i'rab and ma'rifa nakira. However, it is describing a word which is connected to the word qarya. So zalim is describing the word ahl, which is referring to the word qarya by the dhamir ha, which is why ahluha is referring back to qarya, right? So this is not the typical mawsul sifa. This is from the second category. And what we find here is that the na'at zalim is following the qarya matbu' in 2 aspects only. Both are in the jar state and both are common nouns, both are ma'rifa. However, the na'at is not corresponding in terms of gender or in terms of number. So if you analyze the example, the qarya man'ud is feminine and singular, na'at is masculine and singular. As it is noticeable, the number is the same, but the gender is different. The gender and number of the na'at of zalim is decided by the word it refers to. So if it doesn't match in, if it matches in i'rab and ma'rifa nakira, well, what about matching in terms of number and gender? Well, the word zalim is matching in those 2 categories to the word after it, right? So the number and gender of the na'at zalim is decided by the word it refers to. In this case, the word zalim is referring to the word ahl, which is masculine and singular. So zalim and ahl are matching with each other, right? Just like how alim and abun matches with each other in gender and number. But the word alim in i'rab and ma'rifa nakira matches the word rajulun before it. So here, the word zalim matches in 2 ways with the word qarya and matches in 2 ways with the word ahl. Does that make sense? So it's split between 2 things versus the first one, which is one word connected to another word and corresponding in all four things to that word, which is the typical mawsuf sifa. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So, فائدة النعت وفائدة النعت, what are the benefits of موصوف صفة or نعت؟ تخصيص المنعوت إن كان نكرتين, that the موصوف becomes khas, the موصوف becomes specific when both the موصوف and the صفة are nakira. For example, جاءني رجل عالم. وتوضيحه إن كان معرفتين. There's a clarification when both the صفة and the موصوف are معرفة words. جاءني زيد الفاضل, which Zayd came, the one that is فاضل. Right, so Zayd is already معرفة, but it is further توضيح, it is further clarification when there's a صفة involved. وقد يكون لمجرد الثناء والمدح, that موصوف صفة can be, specifically for thana and madh, to praise. So the sifa can come as a way to praise the mawsuf. So when Allah says Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim are sifa, and they are describing the word Allah. They are praising the word Allah. Right? Not just description, but praise. وَقَدْ يَكُونُ لِلذَّمِّ, and the opposite could happen as well. Mawsuf sifa, the sifa can come to show them, as in addition to describing. Example, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. So, ar-rajim is not just describing shaitan, but it is also disgracing the man'ud. It is disgracing the mawsuf, the word shaitan. And موصوف صفة could also be for وقد يكون للتأكيد نحو قوله تعالى نفخة واحدة. So it's not just about the number, but the fact that it will only happen once, and that happening, that once is sufficient to destroy the world, because it's talking about the blowing of the trumpet. Right? Okay. So of what we looked at so far, only the second one requires a little bit of thinking, but we've come across examples like this previously. Right? الأحكام للمنعوت والنعت, the rules of موصوف صفة. واعلم أن النكرة توصف بالجملة الخبرية. And know that the nakira, so أن النكرة, that a nakira word, أن النكرة, that a nakira word, توصف, can be described by a jumla khabariya. In other words, if the mawsuf is nakira, the sifa can be an entire jumla khabariya. For example, marartu bi rajulin abuhu alimun. Marartu bi rajulin abuhu alimun. So I passed by a man whose father is an alim. I passed by a man whose father is an alim. أو مررت برجل قام أبوه. I passed by a man whose father stood. So أبوه عالم is sifa of the word rajul only because rajul is nakira, right? And if we said marartu bi rajulin alimun abuhu, then that would just make it the second type of mawsuf sifa, right? In which case the sifa is not a jumla khabariya, right? Marartu bi rajulin alimun abuhu. Yeah, I'll have to think on the tarkib of that sentence, but okay. So, جاءني, sorry, مررت برجل أبوه عالم, full sentence that's acting as a sifa, and a jumla فعلية خبرية acting as a sifa for the word rajul. And it's only possible because the word rajul is nakira. والمضمر لا يوصف ولا يوصف به. والمضمر, pronouns, can never be the sifa and can never be the mawsuf. لا يوصف, لا يوصف can never be the mawsuf. ولا يوصف به, and you can never use them as sifa. Right? And the extension right under gives the reason why the dhamir can never be a sifa or why it can never be a mawsuf. The reason the na'at cannot be a dhamir is because the dhamair is the a'raful ma'arif, most common of all common nouns. There's no need to clarify or specify it with a na'at. Second reason, the reason the na'at cannot be a dhamir is because the dhamir refers to a that. Whereas the sifa, the na'at, should always refer to the meaning of the matbu', not the that of the matbu'. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah. Sheikh, the previous example, مررت برجل قام أبوه. So قام أبوه is the sifa to the previous مررت برجل.
Yeah. So marartu is fi'l fa'il and bi rajulin. So bi is harf jar. Rajul is mawsuf, right? Qama is fi'l. Abuhu is mudaf ilayh becomes fa'il. Fi'l fa'il jumla fi'aliyya becomes the sifa of the word rajul, which is mawsuf. So mawsuf sifa becomes majroor of ba, and jar majroor becomes muta'alliq.
Okay. Makes sense.
The second of the tawabir is atf, right? Which is also very simple because atf bil huruf is basically you connecting one thing to another, and you have three parts to the sentence. You have the ma'tuf alay, that which is being connected to, and you are connecting through a harf atf, and then you are connecting a ma'tuf. So you have ma'tuf alay, harf atf, and ma'tuf. So tafsil al-atf bil-harf, this is where atf happens with a harf. فصل العطف بالحروف تابع ينسب إليه ما نسب إلى متبوعه. حرف عطف or atf is the tabi' where connected to it is what is connected to the matbu'. So you are connecting two things to the same thing. So if you say Zayd and Bakr came, then you are connecting both of them to the fi'l of coming, right? So yunsabu ilayhi ma nusiba ila matbu'ihi. So what you connect to the ma'tuf is what's connected to the ma'tuf alayh. وَكِلَاهُمَا مَقْصُودَانِ بِتِلْكَ النِّسْبَةِ. And both of the yunsabu ilayhi and ma nusiba, both of the ma'tuf alayh and the ma'tuf, both the ma'tuf alayh and the ma'tuf are the main parts of the sentence through this connection, through this association, right? Because you don't say the ma'tuf is more important than the ma'tuf alayh, or vice versa, because of and or whatever, you say both parts are equally important. الاسم الآخر للعطف بالحرف ويسمى عطف النسق أيضا. Another name for عطف بالحرف is عطف النسق. Okay. شرط العطف بالحرف. The reasons, or sorry, the conditions of عطف بالحرف. وشرطه أن يكون بينه وبين متبوعه أحد حروف العطف. And the condition is that between it and the matbu', meaning between the tabi' and the matbu', between the ma'tuf and the ma'tuf alayh, there has to be one of the letters, one of the huruf al-atf, because that's how you know there's a connection. And this is going to come more so in the وَسَيَأْتِي ذِكْرَهَا فِي الْقِسْمِ الثَّالِثِ. This is going to come up more so in the third section of the book when we talk about huruf, right? Because obviously the atf are huruf, and there are multiple meanings of each one, as we saw a little bit in Tuhfa, right? Inshallah ta'ala. But for now, قَامَ زَيْدٌ وَعَمْرٌ. So when you say Zayd and Amr stood, you are connecting both words to each other, and both of them are connected to قَامَ. And you know they are connected because of the harf atf wa. حُكْمُ الْعَطْفِ بِالْحَرْفِ, the rule of harf atf, the rule of atf بالحرف. وإذا عطف على الضمير المرفوع المتصل يجب تأكيده بالضمير المنفصل. Right? So when you connect to a ضمير مرفوع متصل, when you connect to a ضمير مرفوع متصل, which is the hidden ضمير, it is necessary to emphasize it by a ضمير منفصل, by repeating the ضمير outside of it. For example, ضربت أنا وزيد. I hit. So the literal translation of this is I hit myself and Zayd. I hit me and Zayd. Because ضربت and أنا is referring to the same person. But because you're doing atf of the word Zayd to ضربت, which is a ضمير مرفوع متصل, it is necessary for you to emphasize it through the ضمير منفصل of that word, right? Like if you say ضرب هو وزيد, he and Zayd hit. So in English, you don't hear that repetition because there's no need. You say Zayd and I hit, or him and Zayd hit, right? So if you say ضربت أنا وزيد, you could just say ضربت وزيد, but that would be incorrect because you have to bring that ضمير مرفوع منفصل, ضمير منفصل, in order to emphasize it. Except إذا فصل, إلا إذا فصل, except when there is a separation between the معطوف عليه and the معطوف. So, for example, ضربت اليوم وزيد. Zayd and I hit today. ضربت اليوم وزيد is literally Zayd and I hit today. Right? Zayd and I hit today. So, unlike ضربت أنا وزيد, I did not have to bring the word أنا here because the word اليوم is separating وزيد, which is the حرف عطف and the معطوف, with ضربت, which is the معطوف عليه. So you are not connecting directly to a ضمير مرفوع متصل, so you don't have to repeat its ضمير separately. Okay, so you don't have to say ضربت أنا اليوم وزيد. Right? ضربت اليوم وزيد. Zayd and I hit today. Okay. وإذا عطف على الضمير المجرور. وإذا عطف على الضمير المجرور. When you are doing عطف on a ضمير مجرور, then يجب إعادة حرف الجر. We already know this one also. You are required to repeat the حرف jar. So if you say مررت بك وبزيد, I passed by you and Zayd. So you cannot say مررت ك. That you don't say that anyway, right? You have to say مررت بك. So you can't just say مررت بك وزيد. You can't just say marartu bika wa zaydin. If there's a harf jar and you are doing atf on that harf jar, so wa zaydin is doing atf on bika, and there's a harf jar there, so the harf jar has to be repeated again. So you have to say bika wa bi zaydin. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So Sheikh, it's not so if you were to say marartu bika wa zaydin, is that not atf, or are you just not allowed to say it also?
Well, that wouldn't be correct, because when you say marartu bika wa zaydin, you're doing atf on the harf jar, but when you do atf on the harf jar, the ba has to be repeated.
Okay.
So you have to say wa bi zaydin.
Okay.
Okay. So i'rab al-ma'tuf, the i'rab of the ma'tuf. So the ma'tuf is the last word of the sentence, which is being connected through a harf atf to the ma'tuf alayh. Okay. So واعلم أن المعطوف في حكم المعطوف عليه، أعني إذا كان الأول صفة لشيء أو خبرا لأمر أو صلة أو حالا فالثاني كذلك أيضا. So basically, the ma'tuf, with regards to the ma'tuf alayh, it'll have the same hukm of the ma'tuf alayh. The ma'tuf will be in the same ruling of the ma'tuf alayh. أعني, what I mean by that is when the first one is a sifa for something, meaning you have two sifas for a mawsuf. So when the second sifa connects to the first sifa, it becomes a sifa. So if the first word, إذا كان الأول, when the ma'tuf alayh is a sifa for something, or it is a khabar for something, or it is a sila of something, or it is a hal of something, فَالثَّانِي كَذَلِكَ أيضا. فَالثَّانِي means ma'tuf. So the ma'tuf will also be like that. So if the ma'tuf alayh is something, the ma'tuf will become that as well. Okay? So footnote 399, the ma'tuf will take the same ruling as the ma'tuf alayh in terms of sentence structure. If the ma'tuf alayh is a sifa for a certain word, then the ma'tuf will be regarded as a sifa for the same word. Example, جاءني رجل طويل وعاقل. So if you just say طويل عاقل, that's directly sifa sifa, طويل عاقل. But if you say جاءني رجل طويل وعاقل, so this عاقل, despite the fact that it's connected with the harf atf, you're not going to consider it anything other than being a sifa because of the harf atf. So in this world, in this example, the word aqil is connected to the word tawil. In the same way, the word tawil is the sifa of the word rajul. The word aqil is also the sifa of the word rajul. So the way it breaks down, if you look at the table, ja'ani is fi'l and maf'ul, rajulun is mawsuf, tawil is ma'tuf alayh, waw is harful atf, aqil is ma'tuf. Ma'tuf alayh, harful atf and ma'tuf become sifa, mawsuf sifa become the fa'il, and then fi'l maf'ul fa'il become jumla fi'liya khabariya. Okay? Okay. الضابطة العامة للعطف بالحرف. One overall rule, ضابط, right? ضبط, one overall rule, main rule for عطف بالحرف. والضابطة فيه, the main rule is أنه حيث يجوز أن يقام المعطوف مقام المعطوف عليه جاز العطف وحيث لا فلا. The overall rule is that where it is permissible for you to put the ma'tuf in the place of the ma'tuf alayh, meaning you can switch them around. Where it is permissible for you to switch the ma'tuf with the ma'tuf alayh, then you can do atf between these two things. جاز العطف. وحيث لا, and where you cannot switch the ma'tuf and the ma'tuf alayh, then you cannot do atf between these two words. So the question is, can I just do atf between anything and everything? No, you can't. The overall rule is if you were to have two things and you want to connect them with a harf atf, the litmus test is for you to say, if I were to switch the ma'tuf alayh and the ma'tuf, could I still connect them, right? If you can switch them, then you can connect them. If you cannot switch them, then you cannot do atf between those two things, right? So one example is given at the bottom of the page because the text doesn't give an example. So this is footnote 400. The overall rule for doing atf is that it has to be permissible for the ma'tuf to replace the ma'tuf alayh. If this is permissible, then it is permissible to do atf. However, if this is not permissible, to switch the ma'tuf with the ma'tuf alayh, then it is not permissible to do atf. Example, in the sentence, ما زيد قائما ولا ذاهب عمرو. So Zayd is not standing and Amr is not going. It is not permissible to say ذاهبا عمرو, making ذاهب do atf upon the word قائم, because then according to the rule of replacing the ma'tuf alayh with the ma'tuf, it will become ما زيد ذاهبا عمرو, which will leave the word Amr without a khabar. This is a little confusing, right? So you cannot say Ma Zaydun Qad. So so in this example, Ma Zaydun qa'iman wala dahibun amrun. You cannot have dahib do atf on the word qa'im. It's not doing atf to begin with, because both qa'iman and dahibun are two different i'rabs. It's supposed to take the same i'rab, but it's not doing that because they are not connected to each other. So if we were to say Ma Zaydun dahiban amrun, so the rule is, can you replace the ma'tuf alayh with the ma'tuf? Can you replace the ma'tuf with the ma'tuf alayh? No. Can you replace the ma'tuf alayh with the ma'tuf? Can you replace the first word with the second word? So the second word in this example is dahib, and the first word is qa'im. So if we were to replace it with dahib and said ma zaydun dahiban instead of ma zaydun qa'iman, then amrun is just a tacked on part of the sentence that doesn't have any explanation and doesn't have any harf atf or anything to explain it. I'll have to think on this more. I'm really not sure how this example is making sense. If you have any thoughts, you can share it. The last section of عطف بالحرف is حكم عطف اثنين على اثنين. So doing عطف of two upon two. Right? So two words that have different i'rabs basically. Right? So والعطف على معمولي عاملين مختلفين جائز. So to do عطف on two معموls that have two different عاملs. So two معموls that have two different عاملs, جائز is permissible. إذا كان المعطوف عليه مجرورا مقدما. If the معطوف عليه is in the state of jar and it is brought in the beginning. والمعطوف كذلك, and the معطوف is the same. So for example, to say في الدار زيد والحجرة عمرو. So this is mentioned in footnote 401 example. So the conditions are that the ma'tuf alayh is majrur and the majrur comes in the beginning. So in this example, في الدار زيد والحجرة عمرو, the word حجرة is doing atf upon the word dar. حجرتي and dari. Also the word amr is doing atf upon the word zayd. So you have two words on either side of the harf atf which are connecting to two other words. Is this permissible? Sure, only if it's in this format, which is where the ma'tuf alayh, which is the first one in the beginning, has to come in the state of jar. So it is permissible for this double atf to occur as both the conditions are met. And both conditions are the word dari, which is the ma'tuf alayh, is majrur, and the majrur fi dari comes first in the beginning of the sentence. So you're not saying basically zaydun fi dari wal wa amrun al hujrati, for example, right? You're not saying zaydun fi dari wa amrun al hujrati. That's not going to make sense. In order for that to make sense, you have to repeat the harf jar. You have to say zaydun fi dari wa amrun fil hujrati. Does that make sense? So if you say fi dari zaydun wal hujrati amrun, the benefit of that is you are not repeating the harf jar, right? And you're just doing atf of two fa'ils on two dharf words. So dar and hujra and amr and zayd. And you are able to do that because the sentence itself is starting with a majrur. So you can't say fi dari zaydun wa amrun wal hujrati. You cannot say fi dari zaydun wa amrun al hujra, because the ma'tuf alayh and the ma'tuf have to be in the same positions as the words they are connecting to. And if you said zaydun fi dari, then you would have to repeat the harf jar. You would have to say wa amrun fil hujrati. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And the last one is وَفِي هَذِهِ الْمَسْأَلَةِ مَذْهَبَانِ آخِرَانِ. There are two other views regarding this rule of doing double atf. وهما, and those two rules are أن يجوز مطلقا, that عند الفراء. So Farra says that it is permissible for you to do double atf anywhere, anyhow, without having these conditions of majrur and having the majrur come in the beginning. And the other view is ولا يجوز مطلقا, it is never permissible to do double atf in the Sibawayh. According to Sibawayh, you cannot do double atf at all. And according to Farra, you can do double atf without any conditions, right? Anywhere, anyhow. But the majority say you can do double atf provided that the ma'tuf alayh in the beginning is majrur and it comes in the beginning.
Sheikh, in the previous example, are we saying that there's an implied fee before al-hujrati?
Yeah.
So is in
yes.
meaning, yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason why hujarati is majroor, right? The word hujarati is majroor because it's atf on fi. So
Okay.
you're literally saying fi dari zaydun wa fil hujarati amrun. But
Okay, but here you don't have to repeat the fee.
you don't have to repeat the fi because the structure of the sentence has the majroor at the beginning.
Mm.
That structure allows you to do atf of hujra on dari and amrun on zaydun.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So both words have different amils, right? So it says at in the definition, عاملين مختلفين.
Mm.
So Zaydun has a different amil than Dari, and
Mm.
Hujarati has the same amil as Dari, Amrun has the same amil as Zaydun. Right? So the purpose of doing the atf is so that you don't have to repeat the fi. But you can only do that if it's in this structure where majrur is first, so where it starts as fi dari.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if you had to switch it, if you had to say Zaydun fi dari, then you can't say wa amrun al hujrati.
Mm.
That's not gonna be possible. Then you would have to repeat the fi. You would have to say wa amrun fil hujrati.
Okay.
All right. So that's 2 of the 5 tawabi'. The next one is ta'kid, which is obviously very, very simple and not difficult. We came across this in Tuhfa, so it's just a rehash of that. So we'll stop here, inshallah, and do this next week. Tawabi is just a couple of pages, so most likely we'll get started with Al-Bab al-Thani fil Ism al-Mabni. Maybe do like 1 or 2 sections of it. And inshallah. Okay. Jazakallah. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أستغفرك وإليك السلام عليكم ورحمة الله
Okay.